Hey, what's going on, guys? SSK here today, and I'm going to teach all of you how to play offense in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. It's going to be a very basic guide, very basic way to play offense. Not really anything too crazy. If you're a previous fighting game player with a lot of experience, you're probably going to be familiar with a lot of these terms. If you're not, it's okay. We have you on board. We're going to help you out. So, to keep it simple, in this game and in many fighting games in general, offense is a very core part of the game. It's where you can get your combos. It's where you can get a lot of stuff going. Obviously, when you're playing a game, you're new. You're just pressing buttons. You're just mashing buttons and stuff like that. But you want to be able to have more purpose with what you're doing, and to be able to take advantage of the fact that you have your opponent on defense. There are two ways to really play offense in this game. You can either extend your pressure, or you can utilize mix-ups, or you can just do both. But I'll explain them both individually so that you guys can understand it a bit better. So to extend your pressure in this game, you utilize a tool called Step In. So Step In is essentially a forward attack a forward dash that you can use to kind of get in on your opponent to reset the pressure, right? So let's say you're doing this and you think, oh man, I can't do anything anymore. Well, actually, if you just did one button to step in, right, you can get away with just restarting the pressure because your opponent is not expecting you to even end it right there, right? They might think, oh, you're going to do all these buttons, right? But then you could just do this. Or you could just do two buttons into step in. Or three buttons into step in as shown there. And so this is a nice way to kind of just keep your opponent guessing and thinking, oh my god, when is he going to, stop, right? And so a lot of times I like to take advantage of this by going in for a throw. So usually when I have my opponent just sitting here thinking, blocking the whole time, I just like to be like, all right, I'm going to go in for a throw. In fighting games, this is generally called tick throws, where you do like a button into a throw. You could view it as that, right? In this game, same kind of concept. You're doing a step in, right, to either go in for a throw, or you do a step in to go into an attack. Either or, right? That's where a lot of the concepts of extending your pressure come into play because essentially your opponent, you're so glued to your opponent doing all this stuff, constantly resetting your pressure over again, that you don't know what they're gonna do, right? So that's a basic way to kind of get things down as a jump for you new players. So the next thing I want to get into are mix-ups. It's a loaded kind of term for new players, so I'll keep it very simple. So in this game, there are three ways of blocking. There's standard blocking, high blocking, and low blocking. All three forms of these blocking block three different types of attacks, which are high or overhead attacks, standard attacks, and low attacks. Stay with me here. Standard blocking blocks standard attacks. So these can be like your rush attacks because they're not overheads or lows, right? High blocking blocks high attacks. High blocking also blocks standard attacks as well. And then lastly, the low blocking beats low attacks and also blocks standard attacks as well. Here's the catch though. Low blocking loses to high attacks. Why? Well, the easy way to look at it is that Gohan is not protecting his face at all. So high attacks are going to beat him up. High blocking, they lose to low attacks. Why? Look at Gohan's legs. Gohan's legs are wide open, so he's going to get hit by it. It's also worth mentioning though that standard blocking loses to highs and low attacks because, Gohan is not blocking his legs and kind of not really blocking his face either. So how do you take advantage of this kind of situation for the opponent? Well, this is where it comes into play where you are the one who mixes up doing either high attacks or low attacks. The simple way to start off your mix-ups is by doing a rush attack into the mix-up that you want to go into. This can be a rush attack into an overhead or a rush attack into a low. Every character has different ways they can do their overheads and lows. So for this video, I will show you a simple thought of how Gohan does his. One of Gohan's overheads is actually a rush attack into the Ki Blast button. and you can actually get a combo from this if you successfully hit it. The low attack that Gohan has is essentially him doing a rush attack into holding the joystick down and holding the key blast button at the same time to charge it up until it becomes a low attack. So again, you're doing rush attack, and then from rush attack, you're holding the joystick down while at the same time holding the key blast button and charging up slowly to make it become a low attack. One last thing I forgot to mention too is that you can also try to mix up the opponent and try to overwhelm them by teleporting behind them. This game has a thing where you have to block either in front of you or behind you, and sometimes you can kind of get away with doing like a rush attack into like a teleport. The way how you do the teleports is two different ways. One, you can do a rush attack into R1 or RB, and this will have you teleport behind your opponent. And then the other one you can do is by doing a rush attack into square and X at the same time. Or if you're on Xbox, it would be X and A at the same time. So I would press rush attack and then press X and A, or square and X at the same time. Let's demonstrate. And from this one, you can actually do several stuff. So let's go ahead and show that there. And you keep the hits going by pressing either triangle if you're on PlayStation or Y if you're on Xbox. Pretty much the entire explanation of doing highs and low attacks on offense. Every like I said, every character will be different in terms of where their overheads and lows are. So finding that one for you will be great. All you really have to do is just make, like I said, in the trading settings, set the dummy to guard, and you can kind of just play around with your move sets to kind of see what's hitting, what isn't hitting, and then you can find your overheads and your lows. But that is essentially all for this guide. Thank you so much for watching. This is a offensive video, guide video for Sparking Zero. And I hope you guys kick butts in your ranked matches, your casual matches, tournaments, or whatever. Thank you guys for watching.